www.MVRemix.com.
Hi Hugo,
How's life?
it's okay. I'm in Barcelona and it's really sunny, but I've got the flu, so could be better.
But you're in Barcelona, so.
Yeah, that's right. So you walk around in the heat and the sun blowing your nose.
Brilliant.
It's all right. How are you?
I'm doing well. So let's get right into this. As a child, what did you listen to, and how did you first get into electronic music?
I don't know. I guess I was actually thinking about this yesterday. I think the first kind of like electronic music that I listened to was just like the sort of pop stuff that was on the radio, like Dead or Alive and anything produced by Stock, Aitken and Waterman. And then most of the stuff that I really listened to was kind of like drums and like live band sort of stuff. And then I guess after that it was kind of like hip hop, like Run DMC and Public Enemy. But it was like actual proper like techno and dance music wasn't until like I was about 17 or something, and I started like taping mixes off the radio, like DJ mixes off the radio, and half of it I didn't even know what it was. And yeah, just sort of like listening to that and whatever, and eventually kind of started finding out what it was, what some of that stuff was, and buying it, and then going to raves and stuff. But yeah, I mean, most of the stuff when I was a kid was like, especially in the early teens, like The Cure and The Clash and Faith No More, and obviously Nirvana and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Now, you've mentioned a lot that you use electronic sounds to sort of simulate rock and roll. Is the next step to have a live instrumental version of your music to come, for future albums?
Well, I mean, I don't know about that, but we definitely do have a dream. We definitely do have a dream of having more people involved in the live show, like definitely for the next sort of development of the band. But whether or not that's emulating the electronic stuff, or if it's completely electronic, or if it's some other kind of permutation of that's yet to be kind of figured out. But yeah, I mean, I guess we just kind of go for stuff that's a bit like harsher electronically, and we've always liked that sort of stuff, like from the the Prodigy and the Chemical Brothers. But we're never really trying to emulate rock stuff. It's more the energy of rock as opposed to the actual emulation of rock sounds.
Okay. Now, did you have any formal teaching about chord progression and things along those lines, or did you learn it all by experimentation?
Well, yeah, I went to music high school for year 11 and 12, and then did a Bachelor of Music at the Conservatorium of Music, so I learned like a lot about that sort of stuff, and that's where I met Julian. Like our training was pretty formal, and most of that stuff that we sort of learnt in class, but I guess the stuff that we really loved, we kind of learnt from listening to music and records and figuring it out, and a lot of the stuff that we would sort of go to today has been stuff that we've listened to off record, not stuff that we've been taught.
Cool. Now, how many songs in total were recorded for Apocalypso, and how many were sort of left on the cutting room floor, so to speak?
Well, there was 11 tunes on the record, and we recorded 13. One became a B-side, and one was completely discarded.
Oh, okay. And sort of, how much time now do you spend in Australia?
Not much at all.
Not much?
I mean, we finished the album in January, and we left to go to start the first kind of tour in the UK in February, and I've barely been back maybe a month or two since then.
Uh-huh. Now, if I'm coming to a preset show, what is it that I'm going to experience that I wouldn't from listening to your CD?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to say. Like we put a lot of energy into making our music, and also we put a lot more energy. Well, I don't know. I guess for me personally, like playing the stuff live is when it really comes alive, and there's something about the way that we make music that's really destined to be performed live, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, but just basically we put the show together in a way that's kind of a bit seamless, as if you were in a club, and we try to mix the songs together as if, you know, we were a DJ, but we obviously perform the stuff live, and I guess that just everything is just a little bit more extreme, like the highs and lows are more extreme, and you know, everything's just a bit more dramatic. I don't know. I've never really watched our show. I've always been playing it, so I can only kind of tell you what it looks like from my point of view.
Yeah. Now, in order to sort of get the show that you've created for yourselves, who has inspired you? Which shows did you go to really get that sort of thing?
I think, well, obviously, just after years and years of watching like techno acts and DJs, and kind of being a little bit like we've been really into what they're doing, but really sort of bored with the way it looks. So a lot of it comes from that, but just trying to like make it a bit more satisfying performance-wise. But I guess the bands that really do it for us are like Solax and LCD Sound System.
Cool.
They're the sort of bands that really have nailed what we consider ourselves to be a part of. And for a couple of years we were kind of doing what we did. We only had a limited amount of material, so mixing the tunes together wasn't really an option. But when we toured with Solax and we sort of saw the way that they do it a lot more differently to us, because I mean they actually go so far as to remix their own songs and to also play other people's songs while they're playing live. But just the general concept of what they did was really kind of like, yeah, this is kind of where we should be at. So yeah, that was definitely like the main kind of band to inspire our show at the moment.
Cool.
Or the way we approached it.
Cool. Now, have fun with this one. This is a question I always ask. A la Fight Club, if you could fight any celebrity, who would you fight? Now, I've had answers from Gary Coleman, Elijah Muhammad, George Bush. So, if the presets could fight any celebrity, who would you fight?
I don't know. It's tricky. I'm actually completely.
Which celebrity annoys you? And it doesn't have to be, you know, English or North American. It could be Australian. Whoever.
You know what? Like there are so many celebrities that annoy me, but I can't actually think of anyone right now. It's really terrible. I'm completely drawing a blank.
We can come back to it.
I'm gonna hang up the phone and then go, oh my god, I wish I had said that person, but I really can't.
Nah,
think of anybody right now. So and I'm not going to just say someone for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get back to you on that.
All right, no problem. So what's next musically for the group?
Well, we're just touring for the rest of the year, and then we'll probably have a break over our summer for a month, so like over December, January, and then we'll probably keep continuing to tour till mid next year, and then we're gonna get stuck into making another record. I mean, I guess that's pretty much what's on the agenda, like timetable wise, and as to what is going to happen actually creatively and musically, it's really hard to tell until we actually get that time to stop what we're doing now and get into it.
Do you ever find time to actually record on the road, or is that not an option?
I mean, we can do it a little bit on our laptops, but it's pretty much like a B-grade version of what we would normally do. And it's a very different sort of headspace for us to be in, because we're used to being, you know, in a studio with all of our familiar gear around us, and also playing and kind of shutting off and not have, like, you know, you're in a kind of bubble for however long you're in the studio. And when you're like on a tour bus and you got your headphones on and you're kind of looking at a program and trying to, you know, make music without hitting anything.
Yeah.
It's a very, very different sort of thing for us, and it's been a hard one to kind of get our heads around. So no, we generally don't make music when we're on the road, but we have on the odd occasion done stuff.
Are there any more videos planned from the album?
I think there is, but we're only just starting to talk about that stuff now, and there's definitely going to be another single. I mean, I don't know where we're at. Where are you based? You're in...
I'm in Canada.
Oh, right. I don't know where the States or Canada is at in terms of what our singles are. I think that may be one behind Australia, but there's definitely going to be a fourth single. Just kind of got decided on recently, and I assume they'll do a video clip for it.
Cool. Do you have any last words to your Canadian fans reading this?
Whereabouts in Canada, are you?
Vancouver.
No, just keep being as fun as you are. We always have the best time in Canada, and particularly Montreal. Vancouver's pretty good too. We've played there a few times, and it seems to be like I don't know, there's something about like Canadians and Australians that's pretty similar. I don't know what it is.